everyone, and welcome to the weekly World of Darkness news show. The first one in November without the Month of Darkness present. We have finished Month of Darkness. You can still check it out on our website. 30 days of news. If you've missed anything, you can just click on any of the little circles in the Month of Darkness page and check out what we've uncovered. But we entered into another very exciting month because it's November, very dark and very on brand, but specifically on brand this year because we are organizing Vampire Jam, which is ongoing for the whole month. People are able to use Dark Pact Agreement to make video games for the Vampire Jam using Vampire the Masquerade IP. If you want to follow that, do check out #VampireJam on Twitter. You can check out Vampire Jam page on Itch, our Discord. There are a lot of amazing screenshots posted already from people's creations, and it could be that at the end of the month we're going to have dozens of games from Vampire the Masquerade IP, basically made by fans that we'll be able to play and enjoy. I can't wait to dive into them as soon as they're going to be ready. But in the meantime, it's time for the news this week. We have an interview with Black Chantry Productions CEO who joined us today to talk about Vampire the Eternal Struggle, and I feel like he's waiting for me on the call right now, so I'm going to join the call and see if he's ready. Let's see. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Artstar.
Awesome, and everyone can see you and hear you on the stream as well right now. And right now, just to very quickly give everyone a heads up, on my left you can see the slideshow of some of the really cool assets prepared by Black Chantry Productions from VTS, and some of them are also exclusive cards we're going to talk about later. But let's start with the basics. Hugh, could you introduce yourself to our community, to people who may not know you yet?
Of course, my name is Hugh Angseesing. I'm the Chief Executive of Black Chantry Productions, which is a little games company based here in Nottingham in the UK. And we produce under license from Paradox Vampire the Eternal Struggle, which is a multiplayer card game originally designed in 1994, if you can believe it, by Richard Garfield, but continuing now with kind of into the V5 regime. As you can see here, we've got a nice little Markavian on screen. At the same time, that's perfect timing. So try keep all of the new materials we have from all the different partners, getting that into the card game and finding new people to bleed. And that's kind of my job.
Awesome, and I assume that in chat we might have some people who have not played VTS just yet. Could you give us a little elevator pitch for VTS? What exactly is this game?
Yeah, so the idea is you take the role of Methuselah, so an ancient vampire, and it's a 4 or 5 player game. Mm-hmm. So you're influencing smaller vampires who are less versed in the world of darkness, and you're using them against your enemies to try and eliminate the player to the left of you. And at the end of the game, the person who's managed to eliminate the most players to the left, which is your prey, you'll be the winner. And you can, you have all sorts of clans available in the game. You have things like allies, locations in the world of darkness, and obviously in the real world. So the Tower of London is a card. Washington DC is on a card, etc. So all those kind of iconic locations we know in the real world, they're also in the world of darkness. You can try and control and contest and play with. And you can play your favorite clans. If you like that, you can play your favorite disciplines. If you really want to do, something that's based on something you really like hitting people. If you really like potence, that's a very common one. People seem to like potence for some reason. It's a stress release discipline, isn't it? I think, but you can do all sorts of things. You have people who dress up occasionally as well, and you can go around and travel and meet people as you play around the world in this fantastic little card game, which is basically how I got into this in the first place, which I'm very grateful for that after 20 years of playing this.
That's amazing. Actually, of course, VTS has this very rich and deep history among players, of card game players in general, that even got into the whole Vampire the Masquerade role-playing zone through VTS. There are a lot of people that, for them, VTS was the very first way that they entered World of Darkness, which we are very grateful for. And it must be a very big step to also follow, VTS history up until until now with the addition of 5th edition and with the transfer to 5th edition. So how did it work from the design perspective to bring VTS to the 5th edition?
Yeah, I mean, some really key things, right? So, in the actual lore, you had clans simplifying, changing, becoming easier to understand. So it was about representing those changes in the card game. So that gave us like a few kind of choices of how do you do this? What's the best way of doing that? So here we've got Ministry and Gangrel, both with Protean. How do you ensure that the kind of the rich, serpentous, interesting aspects come through with the Ministry as well? We can do things there by having multi-discipline cards that just the clan can use to make it a bit more interesting. So you get that feel and that richness of that setting through. We're really lucky to work with a lot of the partners as well. So we've got all of these source books to draw from. So it's just about taking those source books, talking to designers, talking to artists who've worked on some of the kind of V5 material, and just making that transfer across so it feels the same. It's got that same kind of rich history going through. So we use a lot of the same artists like Mark Kelly. He's a great one. Calvin as well. We love that kind of richness coming through, and I think it really helps, right? So you got like a character like Theo Bell just on the screen coming up there, where when you're seeing that character in the card game or in a computer game or in your RPG coming through in a session, you want them to kind of have the same feel, right? You want them to get that iconic feel of here's a badass who wants to try and fix things, and you want to get that across. So I think that's kind of how we work on that, to try and get that thematic feel across, because the mechanics of the game haven't changed really in 27 years. There's a really solid base, as I said, by Richard Garfield, who's one of those pre-owned game designers. It's almost like anything he makes is gold dust. So some things have changed over that time, but it's broadly speaking the same. So it really is about getting that feel across, and that's done in the art, in the story. So one of the things we've got coming up, Outstar, is we've got a little release on Fall of London, which is a source book for V5. Obviously I'm a little bit biased being a Brit, so obviously I think London's a brilliant place. It's cold and rainy, so it's a perfect Ward of Darkness kind of location. But you've got all of these vampires, and you've got the Inquisition in that kind of Fall of London book, and what they're doing to kind of the kindred of London coming through. So we can only take a small snippet. When we're producing like 60 cards, we can get some of the key kindred across, some of the key events and things that happen in that kind of source material. But I guess part of the point of that source material, right, is it's a story, and you get to influence how it happens as you're playing it. And it's kind of true in the card game as well, right? You can take across some of these cool thematic locations in vampires, but it's about giving people an experience, a snippet, an idea into this alternate reality of what if.
Of course, and you did mention the part about working with various partners on doing some cool stuff together. Do I recall correctly that one of the latest cooperations that you had was with By Night Studios, who are right now on Kickstarter with War of Ages?
That's correct, yes. So they had a previous kind of crowdfunding that we worked with them on, and they asked us if we'd like to come back and do something for War of Ages as well. And it's perfect timing for us, as we're just right now releasing our first Banu Hakim deck. It's the delivery to me is currently on a ferry crossing the channel, because that's how things work now. But we're going to get this Banu Hakim deck out, and now we're going to add Tigurius as like badass hardcore Camarilla guy. We want to get kind of the theme as well, with that relationship with Victoria Ash through that in the card as well. So keep it exciting, but also relevant to the story. And he's just a fun vampire as well.
Of course, and
so really look forward to that.
Actually, speaking about the new decks, because let's start with the very basics, the last questions for the people who are starting their story with VTS. What is the best way or best product to purchase to get into VTS right now?
Yes, exactly. So we've got a core box set which
Mm-hmm.
has the 5 core clans in. So Markavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere, and Ventrue. So your 5 original leftover Camarilla clans, I guess is a way of thinking about that. And that's available as like a box set that has counters in, a nice glossy rule book, an edge marker, which is just a way to denote who's doing best in the game, and kind of like a quick start guide as well. These 4 decks that are coming out now, so we've got this Banu Hakim, so the another Camarilla deck, and then we've got Anarch decks for Brouillard, Gangrel, and Ministry coming out right now, as I said. So these will come again with quick start guides. There'll be electronic quick start guides you can download as a PDF. And the idea of these decks, so there's 77 card decks of things you can do, and 12 vampires. So you get like an 89 card deck. And these 4 decks should be like a similar kind of balance level to the original 5 decks in this box set. So the idea is to try and make it very easy for a new player to get in at an entry level and play around, see if they like it, see if they enjoy the mechanism, because it works really well, as I said, like a 4 or 5 player game. So you can see, do you like this? And you've got a box set of, as I said, with 5 decks in, so you can start a group up like that, see if it works for you, and then add on some more decks if you want. And that's the idea. And add on your favorite clan. If you don't like Brouillard, don't buy the Brouillard. I don't know why you wouldn't like the Brouillard. They hit things. That's great, and particularly they can hit Tremere. I think that's really important.
Of course.
Hit Tremere. I may have mentioned it in the last interview last year. Hitting Tremere, always a strong sign, I think, of a good vampire.
Yeah, but actually, one of the questions that interests me a lot is, and also pretty much on topic, because currently we are running a Vampire Jam. There's a lot of people who are making video games for Vampire the Masquerade from the scratch, even without any experience. And I do receive a lot of questions about how to translate clans from the book into a video game, or any game actually. Card game is actually a pretty good example for that. And people are wondering, should this be one-to-one, just taken from the book, all the mechanics, should they be translated directly? And of course, there's always the game design perspective here, where you want to balance these clans, where you want all of them to be fun. So I'm wondering how you approached the new additions to VTS. Like, for example, Banu Hakim. They are, of course, the clan of the judgment, the clan of law. How do you translate that into a card game?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I guess it's easy in some ways for us, in that we've had so long deeply into that lore, and although the lore has changed and grown, evolved, if you like, over time, a lot of the basics are still the same, right? So obfuscate is still about hiding in the shadows. So if you want to do cards that involve obfuscate, they're often have pictures of people hiding or doing things stealthily. They're gonna help you do things in a sneaky, underhand way. When you're taking kind of the clans, like particularly the Banu Hakim and that kind of shift forwards, we've got cards where they can target and enter combat with other vampires in a sneaky way to bring down their justice upon people who have breached the rules. So it's about trying to make that work for them. And the same with kind of blood sorcery. It's about seeing what would the Banu Hakim know that those evil, stinking Tremere wouldn't know, as an example, right? So they're sharing a discipline for our purposes. So it's about trying to make a bit different and special for the Banu Hakim versus Tremere. I'm sorry if anyone likes Tremere. I think it's important to really make sure people know where they sit in the scheme of things.
I really like the sentiment.
Yeah, I think most people do, really. It's easier with like big events and locations. So as I said, the Tower of London is a card in the game. You can bring across things like that really easily. And I think in the Fall of London that we're doing now, we have a card based on the Shard, which it's just an office block in London, but it's a really pretty office block. And it's got a really fancy restaurant on like the 11th floor or something. You can go in a lift and look out over the city and see all the poor miserable mortals that you could feast upon. So bringing something like that across as a card is like, what would that do as a power base? Why would a vampire or why would a Methuselah want to control that? What's the special thing that's interesting about it for the World of Darkness over just another office block? It's really easy to do an art picture for that because there's thousands of pictures of it, and very easy to do something. But it's about what makes it special for the World of Darkness, what makes it interesting. So it's always about the theme for us, and we have. I mean, on some of these cards here, we have people who've been playing the game for a long time. On the, I really got to call this out. So on the brouillard that goes across this octane that flips across the screen every so often, this guy is like a singer in a band that sings about vampires trying to struggle. He's a singer in a goth band, right? So it brings across that kind of theme. He's interested in the alternate arts, in that kind of that style. So again, when you just try go, who'd be good for like a brouillard who's a bit punk, who's a bit different. Traditionally you want somebody who's, standing up for things, a bit of a rebel, and it's like, well, perfect. You're already a lead singer of a goth punk band. Job done. You fit that role. I mean, so I think it's about trying to make things fit like that really well.
That's great. And of course, I need to ask about my personal bias, which is my personal clan, which is the Ministry. How did you try to translate the deception and the transgression that Ministry specialize in into the card game?
Yeah, well, they were just so good at it. So it's actually very easy. So a lot of it for them is about manipulating other people's vampires. So causing them to lose actions or slowly take control of other people's resources, because that's what they do. That's what they've always done. And they might call it now, they might say it's a church, a part of a religion, but it's just the same thing, right? It's just, we want to control you. Here you go, sign here, sign also here, and here again. Thank you very much. Can you leave now? We own this property. It's like, what?
Yes.
So I think it's about getting that across. That there's a lot of they've got obfuscate as a natural clan discipline, so that really helps with them doing things in a sneaky manner. But because they've got presence, as I'm sure you're very aware, that they do it in a really charming, stylish way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the protean, bringing that across with those kind of serpentis amalgam kind of aspects. Where they differ is, what things do they still have that represent them doing things in a kind of subtle, underhand way. So, stealing blood from somebody without them knowing, or as I said, kind of influencing someone. So over a number of turns, you can get control of them. They're subtle for the most part. So they've got a lot of power in the card game, similar way to kind of the RPG, but they do things subtly,
Yes.
and with great beauty as well and charm.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm going to play Ministry. Thank you so much. But let's get back a little bit to the state of VTS right now, and of course what's going to come to VTS in the future. Starting with the events, because of course we are slowly reaching this phase where we can meet in real life, and it's starting to get more popular to meet in real life. We are going to talk plenty about LARPs today, and VTS always had this very lively live scene of people meeting and playing together. Is there anything on the horizon for Black Chandra Productions and VTS when it comes to those real events?
That's an excellent question. Yeah, so I guess from July onwards this year, at least in Europe and North America, things have started reopening up. We don't have a European Championships this year, which would have been in July in Ripcon, so Helsinki, Finland. But we are seeing more and more events come up. And at the end of this month, we're going to have the Spanish National Championships in Alicante, so in kind of southeastern Spain. And that has something like 120 players registered to go there, which is, that's brilliant news. Hopefully it'll be a nice, safe event. I need a vaccine pass to get into the country, smile and leave again, and I'm totally fine with that. As long as we can, have these events, that's what I want to do. And it's just great to see that many people. Most of the attendees, I can see like the attendee list where they're coming from. Like most of them coming from in Spain itself. So it's great to see so many Spanish players there. But also we're getting some kind of tourists visiting as well. That's still a bit trickier at the moment. So I think we look forward to building on events like this going into 2022. As more people get vaccinated, or even additionally vaccinated, or we learn to deal with things a different way. I think we'll see more and more of these events come back. We are looking towards the kind of European Championships being in Helsinki again next year. So we've deferred it 2 years in a row. We made a promise to our Finnish friends to try and get there. And it's a great event. I went to a RoboCon, I think in like 2009 or 2010, when I was poor, and I didn't quite enjoy it as much as I could now, hopefully. But I went to see lots of like beautiful churches, as well as attending the actual kind of convention itself. So I look forward to going back.
Sounds amazing, and I would love to, meet the VTS community one day in person as well. Really hope I will be able to. But what's next when it comes to development? Can you actually tell us a little bit more about what you're working on right now, what you're planning for the future? Of course, I know that we can't talk about everything, but I would love to get anything that you have for me.
Of course. So development, as I said, we've got the Banu Briag Angle ministry on various trucks and lorries right now, which is quite exciting. We also then have the Fall of London, which I alluded to earlier, which I think is about a 60 card mini set. So you've got here in front of you this Abraham Mellon. So he's a character from that set. We also have a Nosferatu guy here, Oscar, who's also in that. So like he's the herald of Queen Anne's court. So he's like a survivor of the Inquisition purge. So again, it's taking those stories through and try to get those kindred and kind of other events coming out. That will be out next year. And then we have, at the moment, like an old legacy kind of demo pack of 56 cards. We're converting that as well into kind of fully V5. So all of the characters in there will be up to date in the modern kind of setting. I think one of the last things we had to change was shifting Malkavians into demontation to make into dominate. So making sure that everything is coherent, modern. That's makes things a lot easier to explain to people when you're working across all these different kind of brands and licenses that they're all the same. And this is what we're going to be producing. So we're really looking forward to that. And then finally, as we move into 2022, we've got kind of Ravnos, Zemise, La Sombra, etc. coming through as kind of starter decks. Again, like an easy 77 card things for them to do, 12 vampires. It just makes it very straightforward that everything's the same and kind of like similar kind of price bracket as well. So you can dip in and out. So if you don't like a clan like Tremere, you can try and skip that and instead spend the money on a clan like Ministry.
I'm very happy that you're such a fan of Clan Tremere. Hugh, where can we find you and where can we find Black Chantry Productions online for the updates if you want to follow what's going on with VTS?
Brilliant. You can find us at blackchantry.com. We're also on Instagram, which is often just pictures of cards and people playing cards. You can find us on Facebook, and as well as Black Chantry. There's a Vampire Elder Kindred network, which is kind of the big fan site for VTS players. So people ask rules questions there, etc., and how to find players. We also have an old website, Vampire the Elder Kindred Network, or beacon.net, which is again another way to find tournaments and events, ask questions about how cards work. So yeah, we do like our social media. Twitter, I think, is the only thing we're a bit worse at. You do get live updates during games, but it's just like, yeah, I can see that someone's played some cards. It's not quite the same.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Hugh. Any last words for the community that you want to share with us?
Well, I hope everyone really enjoys themselves. And we obviously do produce cards for Tremere. So, what's just Jerry? I'm really sorry you don't support this prejudice, but we do actually produce Tremere cards, which you can purchase, and they are lovely, and they do really well. There aren't any Tremere in this slicer, unfortunately.
Thank you so much, Hugh, for joining us today, and I hope to hear from you as soon as we're going to get more updates from VTS and get you back here to give us more exclusive cards and more previews on what you're doing in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Bye. And we're jumping straight back to another slideshow, this time from our community members, participants of the, let me just get this interview window out. There we go. From Exeter by Night, TikTok LARP, which I've been talking about a little bit on the previous news shows, but this time I have a very big occasion to talk about it just again, because Jackalope LARP, our LARPing partner, is organizing and sponsoring the event Exeter by Night Welcome to the Succubus Club event during Midwinter Gaming Con. And basically this is bringing the TikTok LARP, which was existing on TikTok so far, to the real life, to the actual physical LARPing location and the physical LARPing event, which we're very excited about. This is the slideshow behind me of characters which you may already have seen on TikTok. They are role-playing Exeter by Night for many months right now, I believe over a year, but maybe someone in the chat will be able to help me in nailing down the exact time. But I've been following Exeter by Night by using the hashtag. You can just go to tiktok.com/tag/Exeter by Night and check out the events, check out the role-playing, check out all of the really nice encounters of different characters together, and their really amazing ways of expressing themselves using the tools that TikTok provides. It's one of the most modern ways of role-playing and LARPing in the digital space, so it's going to be extremely exciting for me to observe how does that transfer to real life LARP. You can check out more on Jackalope social media, and of course please do check out Exeter by Night and follow those wonderful people behind me, because they are amazing role players and their characters are super memorable. There's so many things happening there on TikTok with this LARP that's it's great. And shout out to Matthew Webb in here from Jackalope, who is one of the prominent characters of Exeter by Night, the person behind the idea, and of course he's also sponsoring with the Jackalope LARP this event. Thank you so much, Matthew. And we're going to jump into next LARPing news. And this one is about Saturnalia, and starting, of course, from the Kickstarter for War of Ages, which I've mentioned on the previous World of Darkness news. There are, I believe, around 15 hours left if you are watching us on Twitch. If you're watching us on YouTube, there might be just a few hours left for you to support this campaign on the Kickstarter. War of Ages is the book by Night Studios, which is covering the Nordic LARP style for V5. So it's the first official LARPing book we're going to have, and Saturnalia is the real life LARP event, which is going to take place in New Orleans in November 2022, and it's going to be a promotional event for this book on which I will be a part of. I will be actually playing a character of which I will be giving you more information soon, what kind of character and who, but I'm going to be there in person, so if you want to LARP with me, please do come to New Orleans, and you can get the tickets right now through the campaign on Kickstarter. You can be the patron of the LARP, which is going to give you many really cool prizes using War of Ages Kickstarter for the next 15 or so hours. So yeah, please do check out War of Ages Kickstarter. Get yourself tickets for Saturnalia. There are plenty left just yet, but I do believe that because of the very limited space on the event, just to make sure that the LARPing experience is super exclusive and awesome for everyone, the tickets are going to be gone very quickly. So I recommend you to grab a ticket and go LARP with me, because I can't wait to meet you in person. And don't tell anyone, this is a big secret, but this is going to be my very first Vampire the Masquerade LARP I'm going to ever participate in. I actually never had a chance to LARP Vampire before. I've been on LARPs which are in completely other settings, so this is my first time doing this, and it's a dream come true, because I've been dreaming about attending a Vampire LARP since I was 15, and I was looking through Poznan by Night and Krakow by Night and Warsaw by Night Polish events, and then Convention of Thorns, of course. So yeah, I'm excited. And you know what? One of the moments when I got the most excited about this was when we had the interview here with Johanna Pettersson, which you can check out in one of the previous episodes of World of Darkness News, where he told about people coming into LARPs for the first time. If you are not sure whether this event is for you, but you have a chance to go, please do check out this interview with Johanna, who is also involved involved in War of Ages. He's the writer, because he really made me want to go very, very badly. So Saturnalia, I will be there. Please come to roleplay with me because I can wait. And let's go to other news. And the news are about the night falling in 2022. Of course, the night is falling aplenty nowadays in November, but LA by Night Season 5 has finished, and with Season 5, we have the finale of the Chronicle done. And I know that this is a very bittersweet news because, of course, we want more, but don't worry, the night will fall again. We have announced sneakily that there's going to be something is going to happen in New York in 2022. That's as much as I can say. But also to celebrate the very ending of LA by Night Chronicle, we shared a special Loresheet, which you might have missed because we shared it on social media. So I'm going to give you a little tip here. Go to worldofdarkness.com/account, or just go to the account section on the World of Darkness site, where you can download Temple of Boom Loresheet, made by our wonderful community ambassador Hadi, based on the lore from LA by Night, of course, and went through our brand team to make sure that it's fully mechanically on point with V5, and that's of course the way for your role-playing character to get more accustomed with Mr. Victor Temple and his company. So if you want to have that background for your character, check out Temple of Boom Loresheet, which is available on our website right now. And please remember, night falls over New York in 2022, and we're going to also have some chances to see and meet and interact with LA by Night coterie in some time in the meantime, but about these details we're going to let you know later. So don't worry, it's not the last time you've seen those wonderful people. There's still going to be plenty of occasions. And next news. Paradox merch store has officially opened. We've been cooking it for a long time, and it's still just the beginning. We're going to get a lot of more cool merch for you through the store, but right now I'm very proud to say that World of Darkness is leading the start of Paradox merch store, which is of course going to in the future also have additional brands with some really cool t-shirts, hoodies. I've seen the real life pictures of these items and they look super cozy. There's a picture of Jason Carl on his Twitter with the super cozy hoodie, so I cannot wait until mine will arrive. But you can check it out as for now on shop.worldofdarkness.com, on which you will find some t-shirts, hoodies, and basically really cool winter gear with either the clans. There's one t-shirt which has a really cool lineup of all the clan icons from V5 on the back, which is lovely, and also the Sabbat illustration, the silhouette, which you can see on the right in here, Vampire the Masquerade logo, World of Darkness logo, basically any way for you to rep that you really like World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade. I recommend to check them out. They're really cool quality, and I love all of them so far. I will be definitely seen wearing these aplenty. You can still check out the By Night Studios merch as well on store.worldofdarkness.com. That's my little mark is coming from there. And you can also check out other physical items connected with World of Darkness on our website in World of Darkness products miscellaneous. I never know how to pronounce that one, but you know the drill. So there's plenty of really interesting items there, but do check out our store. We are very happy with these designs, and I really cannot wait for any IRL event in which I'm going to people wearing these. And in the next news, Olivier Deriviere is a music composer for Vampire the Masquerade Swansong, which you might have heard in some other games, including Vampire. And he has made a very cool blog development diary, which covers the music making for Vampire the Masquerade Swansong. It not only talks about the making of themes for each of the characters. You might have heard these themes in the trailers for Leisha, Galeb, and which were the Malkavian Venture and Toreador trailers. And there's also a glimpse on the main theme and on the making of the main theme, which you might have not heard yet in full. There's a plenty of content in this 5-minute long dev diary, which you can check out on Vampire the Masquerade Swansong YouTube and social media. Do check out their Twitter, check out their Facebook. We are slowly entering the 2022. It's going to happen soon. And of course, Swansong releases in 2022. So you may expect more content from Swansong in the near future. But as for now, please do check out this really awesome development diary with Olivier, which is really showing you how much passion and really cool stuff comes into making music for a game like this. I believe that in general, vampire games right now have a really cool history of music and soundtracks, and we're really proud to continue this with Swansong as one of the many titles that has really cool music in the World of Darkness. But in the meantime, the last news. And the last news is actually a compilation of quick news and updates from various titles. First of all, Vampire the Masquerade Parliament of Knives is available on Steam, mobile and iOS. Mobile and iOS, of course, iOS and Android. That's what I was going to say. So you can get it on Play Store and on the iOS Store, Apple Store right now, and you can get deeper into the story which we've covered with Jeffrey Dean on the interview last week. I really recommend that interview. It was super fun. And hey, in this game you can customize your rat, and you can, if you are playing a Nosferatu, you can pick a color of the fur, and you can pick a color of the fur, gender, and a name for your rat, which should be enough of a selling point for Parliament of Knives. But there's a plenty of more awaiting you there. I've heard some first opinions from people who finished the game that really liked it, so please do check out the reviews, please check out what people are saying around, and grab and play Parliament of Knives. Some news from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt as well. They have also opened their merch store, so if you want to get some cool mouse pads and hoodies and hats and more items from with the Bloodhunt logo, or this really cool illustration that they have with vampires hanging on the buildings of Prague, then you can check it out on the Bloodhunt website. And additionally, they are running a giveaway with Intel for plenty of laptops and also the tokens that you can use in the game. Razer Blade laptops, really cool gaming laptops, which you can actually play Bloodhunt on. You can check out on their social media how to enter the Intel giveaway and have a chance to win one of these really cool items. Crimson Fall, the comic books, the comic event from Vault is right now, has released the second issue, so you can now obtain issue 1 and 2. This is the comic which is combining Vampire the Masquerade with Werewolf the Apocalypse and basically throwing these two settings together, and also a comic in which we are very closely working with in order to make it a nice introduction to upcoming Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition. In issue 2, Justin Achille has already tweeted today, so this is not a big spoiler, but you can actually see some bigger glimpses to Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition. The very first issue had an introduction to the lore of 5th edition Werewolf, and this one also has some back matter which may interest you if you are a Werewolf fan and want to know more about what's coming in the 5th edition. So please do check out Crimson Fall. We were super proud of this one. It's a wonderful comic, and just like Winter's Thief, I really hope that you will like it. And last but not least, Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife is now available on PSVR, and if you purchased it on PSVR, you have a chance to win a really cool merch bag from Fast Travel Games. The only thing you need to do is send them a screenshot of your game made on PSVR. So do check out their social media, grab a screenshot if you have PSVR and you have this game on it, and send it over to them, because they have some merch bags for you. And the merch bags has super cool stuff that I was presenting on one of the past SWAT news many episodes ago. There's a key to the Parkland Mansion. There's a really cool sticker that is formed with a tattoo of the main protagonist, which he has on his hand, and more. It's a really nice box of stuff, and really cool t-shirt too. So yeah, that is it for the news today. I really hope you enjoyed it, but now we're going to jump quickly to Vamily Spotlight with Hadi. I'm going to see whether Hadi is there awaiting us on the meeting, and then we're going to jump straight into the board. Let me just see very quickly. Vamily Spotlights. Hello, Hadi.
Sorry, my cat just unplugged my microphone.
That's fine. Why is this another cat day today? There's a lot of cats involved.
He's messing with my feet and he unplugged my microphone in the process.
That's completely understandable. Let me just jump to the Vamily Spotlight and see if we can see the screen right now. We can. Great, but we cannot see you for some reason. Let me fix that.
Uh-oh.
Interview window. I think I know why.
Is it me?
No, it's me. I think it's there we go. I think you should be. Yes, you're here now. I just need to put you a little bit up there. Perfect. Great. All right, Hattie. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm excited about all the LARP news.
I am so
personally.
I am so excited about everything. Actually, honestly, I'm the most excited about what you're going to show me today because I know that we have a little part with the Vampire Jam, which I just am like too excited about. So,
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Oh yeah, I know what's going on. So when I have you, I need to put you here, and this here, and now here. Sorry, everyone. Some technical issues, but now everything is ready.
It's always me. I have a La Sombra Bane.
That's because you're La Sombra, it's fine. Yeah. But let's go from the very beginning. Oh, I see that we have the prompts from Vamptober, which unfortunately is over now, but people can still make things if you haven't managed to do them in October. You can still
I still want to show them as much as I can.
Absolutely. So let's start with Eternal Enemy, day 21.
Shall I read it?
Mm-hmm.
This is by Rodrigo Agabash?
Ragabash,
excuse me, I should know that. It's a werewolf. I insist, our real enemies are the mortals, not the Sabbat, it's not the Anarch movement, and least of all, the thin-blooded. It's the mortals, because they are the ones most interested in not wanting to be the kind we want them to be. And those who could see what we're doing with them think of nothing but destroying us. That always happens, since Cain, since always. Therefore, as long as we exist, we will be a threat to them and they to us for eternity.
That's so good.
It's so very good, yes.
I also love, when people who are non-native English speakers like Rodrigo are writing super cool stuff in English, because that's a feat. I know it myself. I struggle with it so much.
You are a great writer.
No, I'm not. But I struggle so much with writing because I'm not writing in Polish. I'm writing in English. So it's always like tons of
I feel the same way when I write stuff in German. I feel the exact same way.
And then we have Andrea, of course. Amazing.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
And this is Eternal Enemy, of course, again. I have outwitted and outlasted many, but I have never bested the one that can wear my own skin. And it's just such a beautiful picture. It's looking at the beast within through a mirror. It's very Malkavian, I think.
And that feeling when Andrea is saying that, I got behind, I'll keep trying to catch up, like, it's so not fair.
They turned out one for every day, like that, at that quality.
Exactly. It's beautiful. I love the reflection. I love the little details. And as usual, the shading, everything is just perfect.
It is, yeah.
Good job, Andrea. All right, day 22.
Okay, and so what was day 22? It's a Beautiful Night to Hunt. This one, of course, Super Rat Lord featured them a lot, but I absolutely love their art style. And what really caught my attention was the Sabbat earring.
Oh yeah, I just noticed it.
I love that so much. And it says, we are predators whose all-seeing eyes were meant to give them detachment and rise, which is, of course, from the book Interview with the Vampire.
And now I feel like we have a new merch idea. We need to make these earrings happen.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
And then we have Lobolos with their amazing palette. I always just, recognize these from a distance now because of the palette.
Yeah, and of course I saw this one and I was like, oh, that's nice. It's two vampires who are in a relationship going out to hunt, and I didn't even see the person on top of the roof.
It's a beautiful night to hunt, isn't it?
And I'm like, oh my god, completely different when I saw that.
The date is going to be ruined in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Love the lights, as usual. Beautiful. Right, day 23.
Yeah, I have and of course, I've always changed everything so it is safe for you to.
Okay, let me check it out. Oh, it's a drawing one. Amazing.
I thought that was really cool. I couldn't even, like I've said a million times, I couldn't even draw a stick figure if I tried.
No, this is
But
super cool, and it is also really reminds me of one of my favorite bands, Ghost BC. So I am very.
that was music I randomly picked from the YouTube library.
No, I mean because the Ghost has the Pope as the main vocalist, and he's like, he's always dressed in this regalia, so it kind of like looks like one of the future popes from the band. So I'm very
Okay.
I'm very,
I was
very
just like,
happy
I
with
was like, sweet, Samichi Sabat priest. This is great.
It's amazing. All right, we have Paint Lady with Forbidden Pleasures. Oh, a forbidden pleasure of reading some forbidden books, huh?
Exactly. And that seems like a Tremere forbidden pleasure.
Yes, it reminds me of our one shot with Alina grabbing the Book of Note.
Exactly.
If you have missed it, by the way, if you're watching us right now, please do check out the V5 Sabat one shot run by Hadi as a storyteller, where I actually did play Tremere and broke my 7 convictions.
Because I asked her to. I said, please play Tremere.
And hey, it was great. All right, and the prince. Why do I see 2 characters that look very really like Lacroix?
Yeah. Okay. So this one,
it's Leto.
yeah. This one is Leto from Night Road.
Yes,
from
of course.
Masquerade Night Road.
Yes.
And the other one is just Prince. Is just a Prince, but I'm like, this is young Lacroix, and I know that doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
Because stops aging when he's embraced, but I'm like, this is young Lacroix.
Hadi, can you give us a little on-stream opinion on the whole global first for Lacroix? Because a lot of people may not understand what is the reason for people thirsting over Lacroix so badly, but there's
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Wondering if you have an opinion on why is that a thing.
I don't know. I don't know why that's a thing. Honestly, I wish there was an option in the Bloodlines game to punch him, like you physically actually get to punch him instead of it being a cutscene.
Honestly, I found him, I hated him, but also I really found him kind of cute. So there's this moment when he just throws his baby feet, basically, when he's like, I want him found! I want him found! You know?
When he throws a tantrum, yeah.
Yes.
And you just imagine really the sheriff coming and picking him up and being like, there.
Yeah, I mean... I'm not going to get into detail in that, but there are many fan fictions out there with Sheriff and Lacroix together. Like, let me.
Oh, you'll have to send me a link to some, I guess. No, I'm sorry. Lacroix was insufferable from moment 1 for me. So.
And of course, there are plenty of fan fictions with 9s and Lacroix as well, which is a pretty interesting dynamic. But let's set aside.
I support that.
Day 25, Blood Magic Ritual.
And this Alex Salinas Vega is in Exeter by night.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, let's check it out. Oh. Ooh. I am wondering what that is going to do once you eat it.
That's the bloodstone ritual, I believe.
Oh, that's the bloodstone. I mean, my first thing was just like, eat it. What's going to happen if you eat it?
I haven't checked in a while, but I'm almost positive that's the requirement to make a bloodstone. Is a coin and your blood. Yes.
No, I mean, I think that the reason why I immediately jumped into eating it is because I recently made a Fin blood who's the Afanor Corporis Fin blood, so he has to devour things in order for the alchemical rituals to happen.
Swallowing Brillo pads and stuff.
Yes, so he would eat that actually.
Probably, yeah.
But a really nice TikTok. And now, Laura is actually doing the prompts in text form every day, so you can check out the whole thread. But Hadi, can you read this one to us?
Of course, and I'll tell you why I picked this one after I read it.
Okay.
Claude watched his wicked creation rise from the cauldron. A beast as large as his smile heaved like a bear, tearing the iron asunder as its claws and wings stretched with loud, violent life. You have her eyes, Claude sighed, wanting to pet it. And that's one thing I love about, the written word is that you can infer just from that very short paragraph that this was someone that they loved and they sacrificed them to make a gargoyle.
Yes. Amazing.
for reasons we
Amazing.
don't know, but yeah.
Wow. I mean, I love the ending sentence.
Yeah.
It just like really tied it all together. So good
Yeah.
job, Laura.
It's very messed up, but very good.
Yes. And now, Ceremony of the Dead.
To be honest, so many of the Ceremony of the Dead art, especially from the Latin American community, was centered around Dia de los Muertos, which was November 1st.
Yes.
And I couldn't, it was so difficult to pick one.
Yes.
But I really like this one. I think I picked this one because you can see the little fang on the person up on the top there.
That's really nice. And I love, I wouldn't, because, coming from a different culture, I wouldn't immediately guess that that's going to happen. Like, we're going to get so many Dias de la Muerte artworks with that. I thought that maybe people are just going to go with the Hecata, Giovanni, or any similar. So this is awesome. I love this. It's amazing. And we
I learned when I moved to Europe that nobody knows what Dia de los Muertos is here.
Yeah, I mean, I know now because thanks pop culture, but
yeah,
yes, we weren't taught about this at all when, it was still just the education system that was teaching this stuff. So it's great to learn cultures through Vamily, I gotta say, because people have different approach to vampire as well. Ceremony of the Dead from Hero Leur. Wow.
Too late, but hope dies last.
Wow.
And that's really sad. And a fun fact, their name means sleepy crow or tired crow.
Oh, tired crow. I like it. I also see a little crow in here in the avatar. Yeah. That's wonderful. I feel like this is, if I interpret correctly, it's basically someone still trying to embrace the other, but the other is already dead. So they will now try to figure out how to, maybe there's a way to still bring her back.
Correct, yeah.
Cool. And now we're going to day 27, You're Bound to Me. We're the first. Oh, wow.
And this one I just thought was so beautiful. By Franzolina. And it says, and I, what am I to... Again, this is someone from Latin... no, this is Italian, I believe. I don't speak Italian.
Yeah, I think so.
It's either Italian or it's Portuguese. I don't speak either one.
I think it's Italian. Yeah.
And I, what am I to you? Why are you with me? You've never answered honestly, or maybe I've never believed you because I wanted an answer different from the one you'd given me. Because although you've let me go, I always try to find a way to remain bound to you. Because I can have everyone but the one I truly want. Because in spite of everything, you hold me in your hands in a way so cruel and yet so sweet that I can't stop searching for you. You're the page I cannot turn, the one I keep on reading again and again, finding always the same ending and always hoping for it to change. And so I find myself writing these words for you and for us, these tears of a love lost and maybe never found and maybe eternal. A bittersweet love that stays with me and haunts us and dooms us every night. I love you, and for you I'd face the sun.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is really, really well written.
I am literally a sucker for vampire love stories, and especially tragic vampire love stories.
I thought it was weird, funny, because, the blood bond can be such a really, what do you call it? Like a really fine line between love and
hate.
Love and hate and love and obsession and love and, all the things that twist emotions with the blood bond. You know?
I love it. I love, the tragedy, because there's never a happy ending for vampires ever, and just to see various interpretations of the love themes in that, I just love it.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was fantastic.
Amazing.
I think you should read this next one though.
Okay, from Ismail. Remember, you're no longer a cute actor on the way to fame. You're dead to the world forever. No one knows you here, and you're bound to me and no one else. You agreed to this. You talk, feed, and walk when I want. And this is your last chance. Awesome.
Very, very much opposite from the first one we read.
Yep. And it also, it portrays vampire very, very well. So that's great. And now we're going to LA by Night with, there's our Beckett.
Isn't that fantastic? Again, by Demidea, I think is how you say that. I mean, I don't know this notebook is fantastic. I
It
want to
is.
see all the pages of this notebook.
Yeah, I feel like this should be, like an artifact for the family,
Yes.
really, like this
Yes.
notebook. And also, if I was very mean, classmate, a colleague of that person, I would grab a pencil and write a little ooh next to him.
Just a thought bubble of him thinking, ooh.
Ooh. Exactly. And now, oh yes, I love this one. So Nerdbird, our resident sheet maker, has made character sheets based on the clan palettes, right?
Yes.
It's amazing. Yeah, so basically you can check him out all on Storyteller's Vault, because that's where he's uploading them. And there's not only these sheets, like he has made multiple sheets. There's one Bloodhunt themed, and there are many others which are fully interactive. You can basically fill in your character using
there's tooltips. They fill in you put in, say, ministry, and it'll put in obfuscate and presence already for you there.
Yes, and now he used the palettes which we've published on our website and made all of the sheets based on these palettes. My favorite is probably La Sombra. It just looks so cool to have a black character sheet with it's so good. So Nerver, thank you so much for making these. They're amazing and they look so good, and you can get them from Storyteller's Vault right now. And now to the part which I'm so excited about, Vampire Jam. By the way,
I could have filled the whole whiteboard with Vampire Jam, but I tried to contain myself.
This is just the beginning, folks. I am still pondering on that. As if time allows, I would love to actually do streams of these games as soon as they are going to be out. I would love to play them here on the stream to basically put more eyes on them. So this is just a glimpse of the Vampire Jam situation going on right now, but there's definitely more that's going to come to the streams. And let's start with the first.
This is Urban Magi. And this now they talked about this in the Discord, that it's sort of a Stellaris inspired.
Yes.
So it's called Vampire the Masquerade Praxis, and it takes place in Portland.
Yes, build up a coterie of like-minded kindred before claiming praxis over the Rose City, and there are basically little pawns moving through the map. I can already imagine how this game is going to be like, and there are also character portraits which they've made. It looks actually super interesting, and I'm wondering what the mechanics are going to be. I see status here: blood, favor, intel, and security. Which might be interesting to explore how they're going to do that. Super cool. I'm surprised with how many 3D games we're getting, because in most game jams I took part of, 3D games were in absolute minority. But also, I feel like what changed a lot is the amount of assets and things available for free that you can very quickly assemble in Unreal or Unity. So people are way more brave to just enter using 3D games, I feel, which we were
I could have
so much.
filled this with all of the 3D games people are making.
And some of them, from screenshots, they look like, professional games made from professional studios, which is, again, thanks to how many amazing assets are available right now for free. So I cannot wait what people are going to cook with this. Please excuse my ugly HUD and my man-mans. So this is basically what's, I think, the very first screenshot, which was published on Discord from an Unreal Engine game. So this is Unreal Engine.
They don't have any socials, That Which Crawls. They sent me a bunch more screenshots, but I've decided I'm going to save some for maybe next week.
Awesome.
If I'm on here next week.
Of course, please, that would be awesome. So Unreal Engine, super brave to use it for a game jam, I think, but also I feel like it's way more accessible right now with the amount of assets people have, so I cannot wait to see what people do. And then we have a little 2D asset here for a gangrel.
Yep, and Lizard, again, I don't know the socials, they are making a text adventure.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, please make sure, if anyone checks these amazing 3D games and these super beautiful screenshots and things, I cannot compete with this. I can barely code. I cannot do anything. Please do not worry. Text games are also as valuable, and there's no less value in text games than in 3D games. We're not going to, specifically give more points to games that are going to be made in more complicated engines or anything like that. Text game has the equal chance to win this game jam as the 3D game. There's no difference. As long as it's, the atmosphere is there, the setting is there, there's a cool, captivating story, there's a cool gameplay, because you can also, do a game that that mostly bases on the gameplay and not on the story in itself. It's also fine. So yeah, text games, 2D games also have a very good value here, and there's no less charm to them.
Absolutely.
And oh yeah, this project, Daniel Williams. So I want to say here, because I actually checked his YouTube.
So did I.
Yes, he's publishing the dev vlogs there, in which he gives the commentary. He gives a little tour of his game, how it looks right now, and it looks amazing. There's so much stuff that he has already done. He started on day 1, I believe, and immediately jumped in to make the location and everything. It looks super good.
Mm-hmm. And their latest devlog showed like how they, I don't know, because I don't know how to make a video game, showed how to like rotate the gun, like tilting with the gun and loading and things like that, and you know how they are still working on it to make it right, but just it blew my mind. I'm like, it was day 3.
Yes.
You know?
I know. It's amazing.
I was just like, okay.
No, it's really good. And I'm just I am checking this hashtag a few times per day. So if you are, and I'm checking our Discord. So whether you're using Discord or Twitter, and if you want to participate in the game, please do post things, because I love seeing them. We love to show them to people. I'm retweeting them with World of Darkness account and showing them here. So you have a chance to be, to put more eyes on your game, which is always important, because I don't know how many games we're going to have out of this. Many of these games may not be finished in the duration of the month. But no matter how many, I think every single one of them is going to deserve to have some eyes on them and players playing them. And you can check them out on itch.io/jam/VTM. There will be entries there. We had one entry so far, which was a spam, so I removed it. But I do not assume that there's going to be any. I don't assume that there's going to be any in a week or anything. Like, people probably are going to wait until later in the month to enter, which is fine. And in the meantime, we can always observe making-ofs around the internet. Thank you so much for posting the link, honey.
I had it saved, but then I must have closed out of it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I will be going back to the Q&A with everyone. And thank you for another amazing Vamily Spotlight.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that will be it for the news this week. If you're watching us on Twitch, do stay for the Q&A, which we're going to do right after this. And in the meantime, please don't get lost in the night, and see you next week. Bye.